here at the Edinburgh campus. We're located both in the Edinburgh and Brownsville campus. And today I'll be doing a presentation as far as upgrading your resume. Simple tips, recommendations. Of course, if you schedule an appointment, you can go more in depth as far as what your resume, what the content you have on there. So keep in mind, this is more like general tips and recommendations. Some of it may be familiar to you. Some of it, maybe you weren't aware of it, or you can get reassurance, or, maybe you learn something new. But feel free to ask any questions at any time. And let me go ahead and continue. So this is our website, UTRGV.edu Career Center. We have a lot of great resources there. Just to give you an idea, once you graduate as alumni, you can just click on the alumni axis and request access to Handshake and all our services, which is career advising appointments, mock interview appointments, access to our workshops, our career expos, and under resources, you can find information as far as our interview prep website, which is mock interviews available online 24/7. You can complete it whenever you have free time. Also, our career closet, where you can receive professional clothing for free, up to 5 items as students per semester, I believe. The Career Center also has drop-in hours in case you can't schedule an appointment. Drop-in hours are no appointment necessary, of course. Just keep in mind that when you attend drop-in hours, whether it's in person or online via Zoom, make sure to be prepared for a waiting period. Sometimes we may be assisting another student, but this is a first come, first served basis. So as far as why do you need a resume, a lot of times is when you're applying for either a program or you're applying for jobs, scholarships, and basically it's, marketing who you are. So those are the reasons why somebody may need a resume. But, the main one that everybody's familiar with is, when you're looking for a full-time job or a part-time job. But internships also are times that way you can use a resume. Developing a resume, you have to, the main thing is take inventory about your abilities, your interests, your personality. One of the things we recommend is maybe completing the My Majors assessment. We have a My Majors assessment on our website. And it's just an assessment as far as to give you ideas as far as like the major that you're pursuing. It gives you reassurance, or it may trigger something else like, oh, I wasn't aware of this major. So as a graduate student or undergrad students, you can complete it and try to find out like where your interests lay. There's other assessments out there like personality, 16 personalities assessment, where you get to find out more about yourself as far as why you make certain decisions and stuff like that. Ask yourself the hard questions as far as like, why am I pursuing this degree? Why am I pursuing this type of career? What is it that is motivating me? While you're, trying to figure out so that you can market that through your resume. The basics of a resume, is the contact information, but you also have the education, the experience, and then additional information as far as military service, volunteer experience, current coursework, languages, and stuff like that. Does anybody have any questions so far? All right. Now, some of the recommendations is, focus on your skills. Make sure it's readable. The length, we usually recommend 1 to 2 pages long for a resume. Now, if you're doing curriculum vitae, 3 to 5 pages long. Check your grammar, check for spelling errors. Don't just rely on spell checker from Word. Maybe have somebody else or go to the writing center. And as far as the paper, when you print it front and back, and technically it's still one page. This is a sample resume. We usually recommend 12 size font, Times New Roman. The margins, we recommend 0.8 to maybe 1 inch, nothing more, nothing less. Anything in between is fair game. Now, as I mentioned before, you have the education, the relevant experience, the work experience, and volunteer experience. Now, just because this, gotta keep in mind, this is a sample resume, doesn't necessarily mean that because it's on this one, everybody has to have it. Employers are interested in the content. What is your story? What have you been doing? From what they read, then they start, picturing your professional development, your soft skills, your transferable skills for the position that you're applying or the career path that you're pursuing. Now, that would be relevant experience. This is relevant to the degree that you're pursuing or relevant to the position that you're applying. Your work experience would include everything else. For bullets, this is where you put what responsibilities or experiences you've had within each position. Try not to have full paragraphs. Don't start with I. One of the bullets that I like to point out is this one right here. Manage teams of 3 to 5 employees. If you notice, it's like the shortest bullet there. But put yourself as an employer and you read this bullet right here. Manage teams of 3 to 5 employees. What do you start thinking about this individual? Can anybody give me 5 things that you think this individual has just by reading that one bullet? Anybody? Nobody's brave enough to participate?
Someone in the comments mentioned leadership.
Okay, that's one. What else do you think this individual has? Give me 4 more. For some reason, I can't see myself in the camera or or anybody else. You know how sometimes it shows or the chat. So if you can read if somebody's putting anything on the chat.
Of course.
So leadership is one thing. Do you think this person is organized?
Yes.
What about, do you think this person is shy?
No, it seems that they had quite a bit of work experience in customer service.
Service. You think this person can handle 3 to 5 personalities?
Another term came out in the chat, interpersonal skills.
There you go. I'm not trying to put you guys in the spot, okay? I'm trying to make you think as an employer, because if it's difficult for you to express yourself or to talk about yourself in a resume, write about yourself, then put yourself in their shoes. You're trying to hire somebody and you're trying to picture what type of person this individual is applying for your position, correct? So if they tell you, oh, I have multitasking skills, I'm a hard worker, I'm not saying you're lying, but how do you know that that individual does that or has developed those soft skills or transferable skills?
The skill that came up in the chat also is bookkeeping.
Bookkeeping? Yeah. So you want to picture, you want them to picture your professional side. From your experiences, you want them to start picturing, okay, this individual has relevant experience. This individual seems like a good candidate for the position. What do you think is going to happen when they start thinking those things? The recruiter more likely will say, hey, this is one of the candidates I want to interview. That's the goal of your resume. Your resume's goal is to get you that phone call or that invite for an interview. Now, during the interview, then your resume becomes your cheat sheet. It's your talking points. Okay. So you got to keep in mind that when somebody, let's just say if this was your resume and I'm interviewing you and I ask you, hey, tell me a time you had a difficult time with somebody or a concern with somebody that you supervised. How would you answer that question? Well, if this is your resume, then you would probably try to think of an example when you were managing 3 to 5 employees. And you can bring up an example, give the circumstance. Well, I had an individual that was always arriving late. Then give the action. The action was, hey, I need to schedule a meeting with you. I need to have a conversation. I want to know why you're arriving late almost every day. So during the conversation, you find out that the individual had car issues or whatever it may be. So you worked it out, and with the individual, you decided to, maybe change the shifts, reorganize the scheduling. And from that point on, there was no longer an issue. So that's your result. I call that the CAR method. You're giving a circumstance, you're giving the action, and then you're giving the result. How you solve the issue. Most of the time, these questions are behavioral questions. Does anybody have questions on that?
No, not at the moment.
Okay. So moving on, things that are not required in your resume, reasons for leaving your job, past salaries, personal data like age, height, weight, marital status, number of children, your health status, the name of your spouse and your children, and the number one that I always point out to students, it's a photo of yourself. You do not need to have a photo of yourself. It's not a LinkedIn profile. It's not a Facebook profile or a handshake profile. Your resume is just content. Your experiences, keep it professional, keep it simple and straightforward. Avoid too many words that say too little. Irrelevant information, especially when in an interview, if you're responding or trying to give a response to a question and your response has nothing to do with the question. You have to be careful and listen carefully to those questions as far as like, what is it that they're asking you? Another thing is falsification, misrepresentation. If you put that you're bilingual and you're fluent in English and Spanish, make sure you are. I'm giving those two as an example because that's the common one that I get. Usually when I meet with students, I ask them, okay, you say you're fluent in English and Spanish. And they're like, yes. My first question is, okay, so you know how to read, write, and speak. And they're like, yes. Okay, so you know where all the acentos go. Well, not really. Sometimes I have to, look it up. Okay, based on that response, you're not fluent in Spanish. Fluent in Spanish, you never have to look anything up. Just like English. If you're speaking English and you're writing in English, you hardly ever look anything up. So be honest with yourself and make sure that everything that is on your resume is true to who you are as a professional.
Real quick, we have a question in the chat. What if the job application platform has a slot to upload a picture?
Then you can go ahead and upload a picture because they're asking for it. That's one thing that if you're talking to a recruiter and they're giving you specific requirements or, instructions, by all means, follow the instructions or their requirements because that's part of their assessment for their interview process. Every organization and company, whatever you may want to call it, has different little requirements. The recommendations we're giving you here today is in the case that they don't have specific requirements and you have no idea, how do I organize myself? These are the things that we recommend. But if a specific recruiter or an employer is giving you specific instructions, then follow those instructions. I know Google only wants one page, no front and back, just one page. Their thing is if you don't get their attention within one page, then they'll move on to the next individual that's applying. Government jobs, they're a little different. Government jobs, they prefer curriculum that takes, depending on the position. And the more you repeat yourself, the better, the more they like it. Exxon, I know Exxon doesn't like for an objective to be on the resume. They know that you're looking for a job, that you don't have to put an objective, that you're interested in a certain position. You already submitted the application with the position. They prefer for you to not include an objective so that you can have room for other important, experiences that you may want to add. Some of the qualities employers seek, these are the transferable skills that they look for: teamwork, technology, leadership, professionalism, work ethic, career management, critical thinking. So these are things that you can highlight as far as on your bullets as experiences that you've had that will make them think that you've developed these, transferable skills. Any other questions?
It's all clear in the chat.
Okay, thank you. Okay, go ahead and continue. As far as tips for career success, get involved in school organizations. Network with your group projects as far as in your class or in the organizations or at work. If you go to conferences, network is very important. You never know when an opportunity may arise from somebody you're barely meeting. A lot of times, if you can't get an internship, look for part-time relevant experience. Yes, of course, internships are better. But in the case that you can't, doesn't mean that, I didn't get to do an internship, it's over. No, it's not. Do part-time jobs or a full-time job that'll get you relevant experience, and it gives you the opportunity to start building your resume, which will then open opportunities for advancement within the career path that you choose. Career exploring. Don't fall into tunnel vision. Like the sample resume I showed you earlier, I said business accounting major. Usually accounting majors, I had a student, he had just graduated, had been a year that he had graduated. And he came in and he started asking me, like, sir, I can't find a job. And I'm like, okay, where have you applied? And he's like, I've applied everywhere. I'm like, okay, where's everywhere? And he said, well, you named the bank and I've applied. And I was like, okay, that's the only, places that you've been applying for, banks? And he's like, yes, I'm an account major. And I'm like, there's so many other things that you can apply for with an accounting degree. And he's like what? And out of the top of my head, I had seen a position at a school district, and I said, well, you can apply at school districts. And the first thing that popped in his head was, I don't want to teach. No, not as a teacher, I told him. School districts have central offices, and that's where they have their business side. And I showed him the position that I had just seen. I believe it was in La Jolla. The position was titled internal auditor. When I clicked on it, it said, look, what is the required education? Business major, accounting degree preferred. He had no idea. He had tunnel vision. So those are things that you have to keep exploring. This is my degree. What are the fields or areas that I can go into? My plan A, what's my plan B? What's my plan C? Things that you're interested in. So these are upcoming events that we have. Teacher Job Expo. We also have our Coffee and Careers with Student Accessibility Services. This one's in person. We'll be getting free coffee and pastries in case you can make it. We'll be in the Edinburgh and in the Brownsville location. All these events are on Handshake. When you log into Handshake, you can see these events. You can register for these events or follow companies, network with other students via Handshake. We also have Coffee and Careers in virtual. This one happens every Wednesday, and we're there about 30 minutes to answer any questions that you may have. Versus, let's just say you have an upcoming interview and you have some quick questions as far as like, hey, can I wear this? Is this okay? We'll answer those questions. Or if you're looking for internships or you have questions about internships, we'll answer those questions. Anything career related, we're there to help you. But again, you have to take that step and say, hey, I need help or I need some type of assistance. And we'll guide you, we'll give you reassurance, or maybe you'll learn something new. This is our locations, the E-Stack in Edinburgh and the PNAP building in Brownsville. Our phone numbers, our email. You can follow us on social media. These are our platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Spotify at Higher UTRGV. Does anybody have any questions, any comments?
It's all clear in the chat.
Okay. I believe you guys wanted to see how to navigate Handshake.
Yes. And also, how are mock interviews scheduled?
Okay, I'll show you that. Quick, let me stop sharing and let me open up my. Right, let me share the screen. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
All right, awesome. Okay, so first I'll show you how to navigate Handshake. So this is going to be your profile. You have your jobs, events, employers, your inbox, Now, if you want to schedule appointments, you would go here for your center and appointments. Now, past appointments will show here, whether they were declined, completed, they will pop up here. Your upcoming appointments will be here. And if you want to schedule a new appointment, you just click here. Depending on your status, you click on the status. Let's put graduate student. Wow. This Victor is not graduate student. Let me go ahead and get freshman. So these are the appointments that you'll see. You'll see from general overview, career path exploration, personal branding, professional correspondence, resume reviews. There's mocking senior. Oops. You should see a mock interview here. I don't know why it's not coming out, but you'll see it here. Once you click on it, I do apologize for that. Once you click on it, then it'll give you the dates. And then it'll also give you the names, like here's mine. And these are all individuals that career advisors and student career advisors are available to conduct the appointment with you. Now, the beauty of this is that you select the time that is best for you. Okay, so if Monday doesn't work, you click Tuesday, then it gives you whoever's available and the times and so forth. Now, let's just say, click here, the appointment medium. Now, it could be in person or online. And then you can write, what is it that you need a mock interview for? And then there's a pre-appointment, just to give us an idea as far as like, where you stand, as far as like your career, or questions as far as like what type of support, career goals, major, whatever it is that you want to give us feedback on. Does anybody have any questions?
No, I think we're good for right now. No questions in the chat yet either.
Okay. Now, as far as jobs, when you click on jobs, jobs will come up over here, and depending on which one you click on, it will give you the details on this side. This, you click here to apply. You can use these filters for internships, part-time, on-campus, or full-time jobs. You can also click on all filters, and then it'll give you additional filters as far as what you want to use. You can also put accepts OPT or CPT in case you need it, or will sponsor or doesn't require US work visa. Events. Oh, one more thing. When you bookmark it, so say if you bookmark this, it'll show up on your saved tab. You can always remove it just by simply clicking there. Refresh. You have no saved jobs. Same thing with events. I always recommend you sort it by date. That'll give you all the upcoming dates, all the upcoming workshops or info sessions that are coming up. And you can bookmark it, you'll go to your Save tab right here. Let's just say if you were interested in this, you click there. The registration has already closed. But if you wanted to register, this would be the place to register. And then it also tells you like who's attending. You can add comments. Let's see. See this one. This one says registration. Close. As you can see, there's a lot of different info sessions and workshops. You see career fairs. Again, here's the Teacher Job Expo in Brownsville, in Edinburgh, graduate and professional school fair. This is going to be virtual, November 2nd. You can register here, bookmark it. The difference is that when you register, any updates or anything changes, you'll get notified by handshake through email, or it could push notifications to your phone. It also shows you, see, everybody that's attending. Let's just say you were interested in them. You can click on their profile. You can see their profile. You can follow them if you wish. You can look at their contact information, their links. Any questions on this? Is this helping you guys?
Yes. Also, in case for anybody who hasn't seen the chat yet, one student already tried looking to schedule a mock interview through Handshake, and it does come up for graduate students.
Yeah, it should come out. It's just that I'm using Victor Vaquero's profile. He's not classified as a graduate student. Now, I know that you can do a mock interview with us in person or online live, but let me show you when you go to our website, if you go to resources, we have interview prep. These are pre-recorded mock interviews that you can, answer the questions and record it, and then we do the evaluation and send you notification. You'll see you'll get a notification when your interview was evaluated. This gives you experience as far as how to do one of those type of interviews where companies nowadays, because of the pandemic, some of them do a lot of first interviews through pre-recorded online interviews. So if you want to gain experience doing that, I would highly recommend this. Whether you do it on interview prep or in person or online, any type of mock interview, take it seriously, dress professionally, pretend it's real so that we can give you feedback. The more serious you take it, the better feedback you'll receive. Because we evaluate everything from the way you're dressed, to your lighting, to your video, to your mic, and in person, same thing, the time you arrive, the way you're dressed, the way your posture is on camera or in person. We evaluate everything. So if you pretend that it's a real interview and you prepare for it, we either, all our feedback is going to give you reassurance, or it's going to let you know, hey, these are things that I need to start working on. Never take it personally or anything like that. Our job is to be, be honest with you and let you know, like, hey, these are things that you need to start taking into consideration. It's okay that you made the mistakes with us. We rather have you make any mistakes with us and then help you, overcome those mistakes so that when you go to an actual interview, you feel confident within yourself that, hey, I prepared myself and you're ready to actually do an interview with an actual employer.
We do have a quick question in the chat. How long do we have access to this service after graduation?
After graduation, you have access to this service for free for the rest of your life, as long as you submit the alumni access request. So if you're a graduate and you know you're not going to come back for a doctoral within the following semester or within the 6-month grace period where they deactivate your email or your account, then you can submit this. Make sure that one thing is make sure that you put a non-UTRGV email. And whatever email you decide to put on here, make sure it's professional email because that's what's going to be tied to your account from this point on. And all our services, everything I showed you, you'll receive as an alumni. And let's see. Under resources, you can also find our career closet. And this is where you can look at our inventory. We give ties, business suits, shirts, blouses, professional clothing for free to our students, up to 5 items. Once you submit it, you select your items, you submit it, you'll later on receive an email or a phone call. Hey, your items are ready for pickup. You show up, pick up your items, and that's it. You don't have to pay anything. They're free, they're yours. You don't have to return them. Any other questions?
No, the chat's clear at the moment.
Okay. Anything else you guys want to see, or maybe I forgot to mention?
We'll go ahead and we'll give it a few minutes, but I know some people kind of came in a little bit late during the meeting. If you would like to go ahead and show that QR code you showed in the beginning so that people can scan in and
Oh, yeah, sure. Let me go ahead. Stop sharing. You see my screen?
yes.
There it is. When you're checking in, you can use your university email or your student ID number, whatever is easier for you.
In the meantime, does anybody have any questions, maybe about MSBA or for the Career Center? You can go ahead and unmute yourself, or you can go ahead and ask in the chat, and I'll go ahead and I'll say the message. If not, that looks like that might be it for everyone. Thank you all for coming out. I know it's kind of late, but we really appreciate it coming from MSBA and the Career Center.
Reach out to us if you have any questions at any time. There's various ways that you can get in contact with us, either by scheduling an appointment or utilizing the drop-in. Let me show you the drop-ins.
We actually do have one question, and it's is it wrong to ask an interviewer when to get feedback?
Yes. During an interview, you never ask, how did my interview go? Never ask that. Um, I mean, you can ask recruiters at a career expo or at an info session or at a workshop, what do you guys expect at an interview? What are things that you like? That's the appropriate place to ask them as far as like what the company or the employers prefer during interviews. You can even ask, well, when you guys interview, does attire matter to you? Okay. And they'll tell you, no, as long as you know, as long as you wear a button-up shirt, you'll be okay. But you got to keep in mind, if you want to take that extra, you want to go the extra mile, dress professional. It's only going to help you. You know, you got to remember that you're not the only one applying for these type of positions. And don't worry about what they're thinking as far as like things that you can't control. Worry about the things you can control, which is how you dress, how you when you can arrive, what type of questions you're going to ask during the interview, how to prepare for the interview. So as far as asking during the interview, oh, how do you think my interview went? Big no. I never recommend students to ask that type of question. I do recommend for students or anybody that's going through an interview to at least ask 2 questions. Never say, I don't have any questions. The 2 general questions that you can ask is, hey, what's the work environment like? And usually they'll tell you or give you a response as far as like, oh, we have an open door policy, we have career advancement opportunities, we'll train you. And then the other one that's kind of important is, hey, what's the next step in the interview process? That one actually gives you closure as far as like, oh, right now, a response they may say is like, we just started the interview process. We should be finishing within this Friday. So you may hear from us either Monday or Tuesday. So how does that help? On Monday or Tuesday, you're going to be patiently waiting to see if you get that phone call or an email. And when that phone rings, answer professionally. And hopefully, it's a job offer or it's an advancement to the next interview process, or the next interview. If you don't hear anything within Monday or Tuesday, just like they said, then you know that on Wednesday, you probably follow up with them either by phone call or email. I always recommend email. Send them an email. Hey, I applied for this position. I got interviewed on this day. And then ask, I just want to know what the status is on my application. If you can please let me know. And then wait for their response. And whatever they respond, now you have documentation. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Awesome. Anything else? Great questions. All right, let me show you where the drop-ins. This is our website, UTRGV Career Center. Simply click here, and as you can see, these are our drop-in hours. Now, during these times, you can either drop in at the Edinburgh or the Brownsville location, or if you don't want to go in person, then you simply click on the link, depending on what time it is. And as soon as you click on it, it'll take you, this will be via Zoom, and you'll be in contact with one of our student career advisors or career advisors. Any other questions?
Nothing in the chat at the moment.
Okay.
If nobody has any questions, would you be able to show your for the Career Center, the contact information just one more time in case if students don't have a question now, but they may want to go ahead and reach you all later via
Yes.
email or phone call?
Yes, let me get that for you. Oops, went too fast there. See the screen?
Yes.
There it is. So Edinburgh, we're at the ESTAC, and in Brownsville, we're at BNAB, our phone numbers, our email, and again, our website, and all our social media. There's all the different ways that you guys can get in contact with us. The number one would be Handshake. Whenever you log into Handshake, like I showed you, you can schedule an appointment at your convenience. We have interview prep where you can do the interview anytime you want. It could be at 10 o'clock. You have nothing to do in the morning or in the afternoon, the evening. You know, you have some free time and you want to start practicing. Just log in using your university credentials. You can either create your own interview, or you can use the pre-recorded interview questions that we have on there and just simply click away and start recording your responses.
I just wanted to point out really quick, just to all the participants, I do personally follow the Career Center on Instagram, and I know they're very responsive, posting all of the events coming up, reminders, the companies that do come, and types of, and job positions that are open on Handshake from time to time, as well as internships, which is really great to follow them on Instagram, just for those little reminders to see on your feed.
Oh, we also have our newsletter. It's mailed out twice a month. So, and sometimes it has articles or whatever's upcoming, job postings we highlight, and events that we highlight on there.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. I'll also go ahead and I'll send out to students who weren't able to attend information about I noticed the virtual graduate
Fair?
fair that will be coming up. So I'll send that out to our students so they can
Yeah,
mark their
most
calendars and hopefully attend. But I do thank you for your time, and it's greatly appreciated.
No, we appreciate the invite, and we like, you know, collaborating and giving the information to students so that they can take advantage of these opportunities. And you know, we're here to help. So feel free to email me or contact us, schedule appointments with me or any of my colleagues, and we'll help you out and try to, you know, give you reassurance and guide you throughout your career path.
Awesome. Thank you so much once again, and have a great evening, everyone. Take care.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.